Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fuse Show. My name is Bud. I am Chief of Staff at Xfusion.io. I'm the co-host of the Fuse Show. I am excited to be joined today by my guest, Rory Cutaia. Rory is founder and CEO of VERB Technology. He began his career as an attorney at a major New York City law firm representing world-renowned entrepreneurs. Since then, Rory changed the telecom industry landscape through a tech company startup called Telx. He became a partner and entrepreneur in residence in a New York City-based private equity fund, and then he and his team created Verb and have reinvented what sales software applications should be in today's video-centric business and social environment. Rory, it's great to have you on the show. Thanks for being on today, bud.
Thanks. Happy to be here with you.
Yeah. Hey, so we have a lot to get into, a lot to talk about when it comes to Verb. And some other stuff that I'd like to get into today. So we're just going to get right into it. Tell us what Verb is to start off and why you started it.
Well, why I started it, maybe we go there first. I had a series of successes, luck in my prior endeavors after leaving the practice of law, and retired twice, actually. And the second time, I had purchased a horse farm in Virginia and thought I would kind of settle into that sort of somewhat more quiet lifestyle. It just didn't suit me at all, and did give it a shot, though. And I had an idea for a new business, and it was a video-centric business model. And it was initially focused on the entertainment industry and essentially disrupting how the audition process is done for people that want to audition for TV shows and films, where you'd either have to really be in New York or you'd have to be in Hollywood for that. So we created a shopping mall-based audition platform. It was a really cool audition booth. It looked like something Apple would have created. And we were installing those in all of the shopping malls across the country. And we created our own singing competition, sold it to MTV. And it was on the strength of that we launched the business and developed the video technology. And like all entrepreneurs, and I mean every one of them, you will pivot. So if you're contemplating your startup and you've got a great plan and you're excited about it and you've done your homework, go ahead. But you must expect that at some point you're going to learn what you did not know before and you're going to pivot. And so we had our pivot, and we embraced the concept of taking our video technology and marrying that technology with sales tools, sales software, and creating something entirely new, something just exponentially more effective than any other sales tools that were in the market. Because, we had, going back several years now to the inception of the company, recognized that people really didn't want to read anything anymore. They wanted to consume information by watching videos. Now, this is before you had video on even social media, before there was video on Facebook and LinkedIn and the rest of the social media networks. So we were really early to it, and we saw that this is the trend that we thought would continue to develop. And of course, today, everything is video. So just as we said it would be. But we took it to the next level, and our video is interactive. So when a salesperson using our platform that subscribes to our platform, they could take any existing video, or they can just create a short video on their mobile device and add clickable interactive buttons right in the video. For example, hey guys, I'm having a sale today on cars. We're selling Ferraris today, $5 a piece. Click right here to buy. And I could send that out. And that's probably going to get a ton of attention. But if it was just something ordinary, if your interest level is peaked because that's something you're actually interested in, you could just go ahead and click right on that button right in the video to complete the purchase. And that is, our clients are getting 600 to 1,200% increases in conversion rates. So that is our business. More recently, we've introduced that same kind of shoppable, clickable video, but in a live stream, live broadcast environment That's relatively new. We call that Verb Live, and that was just released just a few months ago. But that's really the hottest thing, I think, in e-commerce and shopping and sales right now. We are at the forefront of it in this country. It's exploded in China and throughout Asia, just starting here. So we are really, really fortunate, really excited that we were in this early, saw the opportunity early, developed the technology, had all the problems and all the setbacks that you would have trying to develop any business, but certainly in the software business. So as more and more companies are trying to come into the space now, and we welcome that because it creates greater awareness that this kind of technology is even available. That's helpful to us. But we've already, seen, solved, conquered the kinds of problems that other companies don't even know they're going to have yet. So we've got a terrific advantage, and this is probably the most exciting time in the evolution of Verb, and we evolve literally every day. But right now, as we look to the balance of this year and into next, with this new technology, new platform, very, very exciting time for us and our shareholders.
Yeah, it sounds like an exciting time. It sounds like a product that, just about anybody that wants to sell anything would be, just stoked to have.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about this, and I can think of use case after use case, from social media influencers to, say you're watching the Super Bowl, and, well, I'm in Colorado, so let's say the Broncos win, which isn't going to be anytime soon, right? But let's say the Broncos win, and instead of waiting till after the ceremony and the commercial comes on, hey, they just won the Super Bowl, you can buy the shirt. Well, how about that just pops up right there? You can buy the shirt and the hat combo and just touch the screen. Is that a use case that you could use?
You better believe it. And and you mentioned sports teams, sports franchises, stadiums. Actually, a vertical that we are just entering, among many others. And I would tell your viewing audience, stay tuned. Good news coming in that vein. So
good.
Interested you asked me about that.
Good deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I can just think of, like I said, social media influencers. They want to do a live feed, and they can just be like, okay, well, you're watching me, and I want to sell this. And people are, we're just beings that, hey, that looks really cool. Yeah, I want to buy that right now. But if they don't have the chance to buy it right now, then they're probably not going to buy it if you wait 10 minutes to try and sell it to them.
You're intuitively, you are 1,000% correct, and it's backed up by real data, which shows that 80% of the people that are watching your video that are actually interested in your product or service, if they have to leave that video to buy it, you lose them. 80%. That's like an extraordinary number. But that's real data. So look, we all of us as human beings have this innate, impulse buy propensity. That's what drives most retail these days, right? Checkout counter at the supermarket. We all know what that's like and why they line those products up there right at the end. We all have that. So we figured out how to take that sensibility, if you will, and build it into sales software and create an entirely new platform and a whole new paradigm. And we're going to see that take over, I believe, e-commerce as we know it in this country and beyond.
That's brilliant, man.
Exciting.
Good job for seeing that and pivoting to that. How long were you in the business, going to the malls and stuff, before you actually pivoted to doing this?
It was within the first year. I made deals with every major mall owner operator in the country and showed them what we were intending to do, and they all loved it because This was a way to bring people into the shopping mall who otherwise, didn't have a reason to go there. People who wanted to audition for a particular show. Now you could just, go to your local shopping mall as opposed to, like you remember the old days of American Idol. You'd watch those first, season openers, and it was all about people leaving their friends, their families, their jobs, their children, driving 1,000 miles, standing out in the rain for 2 days, hoping to get a brief opportunity to audition for an intern. I mean, what people would do was crazy, and the result is that the people that ended up on the shows, it was starting to get a little stale because there's only so many people that are willing to make that kind of sacrifice. So the shows and the casting people on the shows weren't really reaching some extraordinary talent that wasn't able to leave their job or their families. By putting these audition booths in shopping malls where people can run over on their lunch hour, that was a game changer. And in fact, people that actually auditioned in our audition booths was called B booth. Be seen, be heard, B booth.
Oh, nice.
Actually ended up on some of these shows. So it was, and some of them were incredibly talented people. It was amazing. So that was the premise behind it. But it was after the first year, I mentioned we had a show. We sold it to MTV. The show didn't air for a variety of reasons, not having anything to do with our show, just MTV's issues. And that was kind of a setback. And, again, if you're an entrepreneur and you're contemplating a new business opportunity, trust me, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things happen that you absolutely did not expect. And that's generally, what's behind the pivot. Plus there's market changes, consumer habits, trends, all kinds of things change. And what they teach you in business school, for those of you who go to business school, it's wrong, because they're going to tell you, stick to your plan, don't pay attention to what people are telling you, stay focused, stick to your plan. You stick to your plan, you're going to fail. You have to keep your eyes open and pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to advice. And I'm not saying just jump at every change in the weather. Be thoughtful. Seek out people that can give you, advice, and then ultimately you'll make your own decision when it's time to change course. But you'll have to, and so our time came after we no longer had the show. We realized that without the show, we're going to do some more auditions for American Idol, and when the next season comes up, and some other shows. But it's not going to be the big billion-dollar business that I set out to create. So sure, it'll be a great mom and pop business. Maybe it'll generate $1 million a year or whatever it was. But that's not what I got back into, came out of retirement to do. I came out of retirement to build a multi-billion-dollar business, and that's what we're doing right now with Verb.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to stick with Verb Live for just a couple more minutes, but there's so much more to Verb than just Verb Live that I'd like to get into.
Sure.
But there's a way, if I'm looking at this right, there's a way for your viewers on Verb Live also to be able to monetize this. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay, explain that a little bit to me also.
So when we created Verb Live, in fact, when you create any product, you want to be very cognizant of the total addressable market. Some people just refer to it as the TAM, right? And you want to know how many people would want something like this. How big is that? And so you want to make sure that you're developing a product that has a large enough audience of consumers for it. So for Verb Live, the audience consumers for that, the total addressable market, is pretty much everyone that you see making videos on social media, YouTube, everywhere, right? And these are people that feel comfortable and confident in front of the camera, people that feel comfortable articulating the value proposition, feeling good about how they look and how they could present and sell something. And obviously that's a gigantic market, and that certainly supported our thesis to go ahead and build this. But then we began thinking about, well, what about everybody else? Because there's certainly a lot of people out there that could benefit from this kind of technology, but they don't really like the way they look on camera. They don't like the way they sound. They're not confident about explaining what the opportunity is and why someone should buy their product or service. What about those people? So what we did is in our application, so if you're, take for example, corporate users, and we've got some huge, billion-dollar, sales businesses, global in scale, that are using this right now. So a sales rep, for example, for one of those companies, can go into the application and take a look at the upcoming Verb Live events that people in his or her company are doing. And for example, maybe I went and looked, and I saw you there, bud. I mean, you've got an event coming up next Thursday at 7:00, and I know that you're really great at this. You're going to kill it. I like the product that you're promoting. So what I could do is I can click on that event, and I can generate an invitation, personalized invitation from me, that I could then send to everybody I know, my entire contact list. I'm going to send this invitation out with a note from me saying, you really want to go check out his Verb Live event. And if any of those people show up at your Verb Live event and purchase product, I get paid. Or if it's some other thing that you're promoting, I'll get credit for it. And that's how we've increased the total addressable market for this product exponentially from just those people who feel good in front of the camera to basically everybody. And in this day and age, the pandemic and people out of work and people trying to figure out how to make ends meet, that need that second or third income, what a great opportunity for people to be able to monetize their contact list, their friends and family. So that just launched, and we have a much bigger, grander version of this coming out as we get towards the end of the year here, that I think people are going to love and create a ton of value for ourselves and our shareholders.
Nice. All right, so we've talked about Verb Live quite a bit, but that's kind of just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Verb. You have Verb CRM and Verb Teams, and those are can be kind of married to each other. They can be on their own, but they're married to each other a little bit. You have Verb Mail and Verb Learn. Go ahead and talk about those a little bit.
Sure.
Because I think it's all fascinating. I think it's all great stuff. Like, I'd like to say you've thought of everything, but I don't think you have. I think that you are going to keep innovating here.
Oh yeah, we've got a bunch of surprises coming out that people are going to be pretty amazed about. But I am really proud of the suite of products and services that we have right now for anybody trying to sell anything, small businesses, large businesses. So starting with Verb CRM. Verb CRM is a sales tool. It's a CRM that utilizes the interactive video capabilities that I talked about before. So I could record that quick video, or I could, when I open the app, it's already going to be pre-populated with videos that corporate wants us to use, or our sales department, marketing managers, whomever. Verb CRM is a white-labeled product, which means that you'll go download it and it will look like your company created it. It'll have all of your company's branding on it. And this is a product for large corporate enterprise. And most of our clients on Verb CRM are global in scale, tens of thousands, in some cases even hundreds of thousands of sales reps around the world. So that's Verb CRM. You could add on to Verb CRM as an add-on package, Verb Live with attribution, which is the name of that feature I described before, where people can monetize their Rolodex. And there's other really great upgrades that we've added recently, something called Pulse, which is kind of augmented intelligence, business intelligence, sort of the precursor to our artificial intelligence. It's like a coach that is actually tracking and monitoring all of your interactions through the app with your prospects and your customers, and then recommending to you the next best step to take to close that sale. And it even provides, pre-written kinds of messages to send, or, what kind of video maybe you want to send. It's an extraordinary tool. And so you could add these things to Verb CRM. And as I said, our customers are getting crazy conversion rates. Verb Teams is a very similar product, but it's specifically geared to a solopreneur or small business. Whereas Verb CRM, you go through kind of a lengthy onboarding process where it's being customized to make it look like your company's application with all the branding and everything else white labeled. And it has a primary system administrator, which will be responsible for uploading the videos that will show up in everybody's platform, and a lot of corporate messaging capabilities. Really an amazing tool for corporate communications with their teams. Whereas Verb Teams is really self-onboarding. You can go to the website and download it, upload your stuff. You're in business immediately with Verb Teams. So that's a difference between those. And we have Verb Learn, which is our learning management system, and it's another sort of add-on. So whether you're using Teams or CRM, this is a video-based gamified learning management system to train your employees. We have customers that use it to educate their customers, their consumers. So it's a super powerful gamified platform for teaching anything. In fact, we are actually actively pitching the armed services of the United States, nice. And even some other countries who want to use this as a recruitment tool and as a training tool. Really incredible opportunities that we're seeing for Verb Learn on a standalone basis. And then, of course, we've got something that we've got called Marketplace and Verb TV that will be out at the end of the year. These things are based upon our Verb Live technology, so that think about any kind of entertainment, any kind of content can be shoppable. Why not have pure entertainment become shoppable? Your favorite shows, why shouldn't you be able to watch them and click in them and purchase the products that you see in that piece of content, in that entertainment? So
why not?
You may have seen a press release a couple of days ago. We've engaged Dave Meltzer as among others that are executive producing content specifically for Verb TV. That's entertainment content that is shoppable. And then Marketplace is where everyone from an influencer to big box stores, consumer brands, retailers can live stream their themselves or the influencers that they hire to do it, promoting their products and services, because people are doing most of their shopping now online. People are not going to the malls like they used to. They're not going to the stores like they used to. So this is an amazing way to create that sort of social, fun shopping experience, because when you attend a Verb Live session, you're actually communicating in real time through the on-screen chat with other shoppers, with other viewers, talking about, I'm back again. I was here last week. I bought this. I'm back to get another one for my mom. Communicating with the host. Can we see the back of that? What other sizes is this come in? What other colors? And then you're able to click right on the screen and make your purchase. And you see what everybody else is buying. It's really a fun social experience. This is the future of e-commerce and online shopping that we're introducing, and that's happening now. Really exciting times. So that sort of takes you through everything that we've announced so far. We've got some other things. I should talk about VerbMail.
Yeah.
VerbMail is pursuant to a partnership with Microsoft, and we've taken that same ability to create an interactive video, add those interactive elements Click here to open my calendar to make an appointment with me. Click here to buy my product. Click here to download that contract we just spoke about. And we built that right into Microsoft Outlook. So if you're an Outlook user, you'll see a Verb Mail button in your toolbar. You can click on that. Something slides out. Create your video or import an existing video. Add your interactions to it. Click send. It'll take that video and place it right in the email for you, and you just fill out who you want it to send it to and go ahead and send it. And then you'll get notified immediately as and when those people that you sent it to start watching it. And that's the free version. That's out right now. People that have Outlook should go to the Microsoft Store and go ahead and download it. It's free. It's fantastic. It's fun. People would much rather see you in a video. Even use it with your friends and family. It's a ton of fun. We have the pro version of VerbMail coming out in the next couple of weeks, which is really for large enterprise that are subscribers to Office 365, and this will be an add-on to that will give everybody in the company the ability to do some amazing things with video inside of Outlook, and we're expecting a pretty big win with that. That same capability that we've done inside Outlook, we will be delivering that inside of Gmail at the end of the year. So we'll have both the Google side of mail platforms as well as the Microsoft side, because we believe, or at least what we've seen, is that that's pretty much where most business people live. It's in one of those platforms. They've got their Outlook or their Gmail open all day, and that's how they're communicating with their teams or the rest of the world. Now they'll have the ability to create these kinds of videos, and whether they're sharing it internally with their teams or they're sharing it externally and using it as a sales and marketing tool, it's right there for them. So Microsoft tells us there's 1 billion Outlook users. So even a small percentage of that market, it's a home run for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love what you have going on, and I didn't get a chance to look too deep into what you had. So the more time I spend looking at it, I'm sure the more I'd fall in love with it. But I think it's absolutely awesome platform, and I say just keep it up. I think it's great. So let's talk about, you've been doing this since 2012. So you've seen some pretty good times, and then the pandemic hits, right? You have 200 employees now,
right?
Yes,
that's correct.
How did that affect you? Because you're in California and you're in Utah, so I'm guessing not everybody is remote. I'm guessing you have a lot of people in house. How did you go about navigating that?
Well, look, first, I want to make sure that I'm acknowledging the people around the world, certainly in this country, that suffered. Truly suffered. It lost lives, lost relationships, lost businesses, lost livelihoods. It was truly devastating, and I don't want to in any way minimize that by anything that I might say. And I say that intentionally because our product is for remote selling. It was designed for the ability to sell without having to be face-to-face. So when the pandemic hit, it was actually good for our business. And that's why I feel almost guilty saying that, but we grew rather dramatically through the pandemic. We did have everyone working remotely, using our own tools to communicate with one another and with the outside world. We actually call that eating our own chili, which if we're not going to use it ourselves, then why would we expect anybody else to use it? And by using it ourselves, by the way, that's how we continue to refine it and make it better and better. We actually did pretty well. during the pandemic, and we implemented a lot of things that made that remote work environment that we all found ourselves in palatable, survivable. For example, early on, we adopted an interesting thing that we would do once a week in the middle of the day. I think we started them on Wednesdays, where we would all get on a live stream together, the whole company, and we would hire a magician. And we'd take an hour from our day, at least we were all on together, and we'd do something that was fun and entertaining. And we did so many different things. A magician, I think we may have done that once, but every week there was something different. So we all stayed connected and in a social way that you lose when you're all not in the same office together. So we continue that, even through now. We used to have a summer outing, and because of the pandemic and the resurgence of the Delta variant that we had, because we were really looking forward to having our summer outing again. We couldn't, so we held a virtual event just last week, and we had a company-wide talent show.
Nice.
It's
nice.
Fantastic. I mean, first of all, I was shocked at how many really, truly talented people there are. But, beyond, musical talent and those kinds of things, funny stuff. I mean, it was about an hour long, and it was really amazing. We recorded it, and hopefully at some point we'll actually put that out and give people a sense of who we are here as a team, as a culture here at Verb. But that's how we've gotten through it and continue to get through it, and morale is extraordinarily high for a whole bunch of reasons, not just those things. We've done other things. We've moved to unlimited time off. It used to be where people would get a certain number of days or weeks for a vacation, and a lot of times people don't take it because they're committed to doing the job. And then, as you get towards the end of the year, then there's people are concerned about losing it, and they got to try and take a bunch of time off, and that's not always what's most convenient for everyone. So we said, hey, you know what? Don't worry about that anymore. It's unlimited time off from now on. Just get it pre-approved with your manager, unless there's some reason that you can't, absolutely be out. Then you go ahead. And people loved that. I mean, people couldn't believe that we would even offer that. And as we were thinking about it and doing it, we were concerned, of course, that maybe people might take advantage of it, and it could be a bust for us. But interestingly, as it turned out, trust your people.
They just don't, do they?
And actually, productivity went up. People have not abused it at all. So, I could go on and on about some of the things that we do for our people, because, you don't have a company. You don't have anything if you don't have your people. You have to really take care of them, and because they are the company. And that's done really well for us. So those are some of the ways that we've navigated through the pandemic, I think, very successfully.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think your culture and our culture here at Xfusion align very similarly. So, I mean, unfortunately, we can't offer unlimited time off to everybody because our agents work for, other companies and just can't do that. But anybody that's not client facing, we offer the same thing. And we have found the same thing. Like, we were, a little bit afraid that people were going to abuse that, and they just don't. They just don't. But it's very nice to know that if you need the time off, like, you can go ahead and go to the doctor when you need to go to the doctor.
Exactly.
And you don't have to schedule it, for a certain time off.
Right.
And, like for me, I'm going to my best friend's son's wedding next week. And then, going to San Antonio with my wife the week after that. And it's just have a great time. It's just not a thing.
Yeah. And the doctor example that you just gave is for me, is one of the big drivers for us adopting this. I mean, suppose you don't have any more personal days left. You've used them up. And you really should get to a doctor, and you don't, because you don't want to lose the day's pay, or you can't afford to lose the day's pay. So you don't go. Or maybe it's something else family related that you don't do. And that's just not healthy for anybody.
Right.
And that's not who we are, and that's not how we want to treat people. So you're right. This is, I hope other companies adopt it too. It's what we should be doing, taking care of each other.
Yeah, I hope people listen to this and kind of start having a paradigm shift, because I think people are afraid to put too much trust in their people because they're afraid they're going to get taken advantage of. But when you start trusting your people, they will trust you back.
You're right.
And
that's exactly right.
It's really amazing when you treat your people well, how well they treat you back. Just take it for what it's worth. If you're listening to this, give it a shot.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of want to take a pivot here, because we're already 36 minutes into this thing, and the time has just flown by for me. But you said earlier that you came out of retirement because you want to build a multi-billion-dollar business, and you're on your way. But I don't think that you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that you want to build a multi-billion-dollar business because you want to be greedy and be a billionaire. I think you have some philanthropic twists to that. I think that you want to build a multi-billion-dollar business because you want to be good and give. I can see that in some of your profile stuff. I can just see that in some of the studying that I've done about you. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're really not. I'm very curious as to what you may have found in my background, but no, you're not wrong at all.
Well, number one is the innocence in danger. Okay. Innocence in danger is a cause with children in sex trafficking or sex crimes and child trafficking. And that's really close to my heart and the heart of Xfusion here. I am a foster parent. I've been the foster parent of 35 children. Jim, one of our co-founders, he used to be a detective, and he was a detective for child sex crimes. And we want to put our money into stopping child sex crimes and child trafficking. So we can start there. And I have a feeling that will probably take us the rest of the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So tell me about that, and tell me how you got involved in that, and let's just talk about what that is.
So it's going back many years now. I haven't been involved in the organization for some time, but I met an extraordinary person, a woman. Her name is Homeira Cellier. She's in Europe, based in Europe. She was with the United Nations UNESCO project, where she created this program to identify opportunities and ways to help and assist and rehabilitate and create programs for and rescue children who were victims of trafficking, which is a problem that is so far beyond what I think the average American even appreciates, how vast this problem is. So she left the United Nations project and created her own foundation called Innocence in Danger. It was based in Europe. And I think this is probably around the time I had sold Telx. It was a company telecom technology company that I founded and sold it for a ton of dough and had a great exit. And one of the things that I recognized early on is that you've got to give back. You've got to, everyone has to do something, because this world is not going to improve on its own. And we can't leave it up to politicians and world leaders and big corporations, although some of them do some really great things. You can't do that. We as individuals, human beings, members of the human race, need to take responsibility for not only the future that we're leaving to our children, but the present. So, as you are exposed to more things around the world, this kind of philosophy begins to resonate more with you, and it certainly did with me. I met her, and she talked to me about what she was doing, and she talked to me about how the problem of child trafficking was so grotesque, I guess is probably the best way to describe it, that it wasn't popular, it wasn't sexy, it wasn't interesting. And as a result, she couldn't get corporate sponsorship to help fund the programs that she was putting together. People just kind of were like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to know about that or be involved with that or have our brand associated with it." So she had a difficult time with it, and she was funding a lot of the initiatives that they were doing, which was a lot, incredible, herself. So I went to Switzerland, to Stade in Switzerland, to visit one of her rehabilitation camps, one of her programs that she was running for these children. And it was one of the most moving experiences that I've ever had in my life, watching what one person was able to put together and how many lives she was able to affect in such an incredibly positive way. So I offered to start the U.S. chapter of Innocence in Danger, and I did. But I had my own interesting little twist on it. I did my own research and was looking for new and innovative ways, because that's just how I think about everything. And what I determined was that equestrian therapy, where you have children who have been emotionally damaged in some way, they somehow, and I can't explain it, and I don't know if science is yet able to explain it, but horses somehow sense that in a child and respond to the child and react to the child in a way that is so extraordinary to watch. I'm not sure I could really even explain it, but it creates a bond between a child and a horse. And over the course of even a week, it allows a child to trust again, because a child who has been abused, trafficked, what is destroyed is their ability to trust anything or anybody, and that drives them into a very dark place that has all kinds of implications and ramifications. Some never recover from it. But this kind of therapy helps reestablish that trust, again, in a way that I don't know how or why, but it's real. I've seen it. So I established equestrian camps we were running them out of Vermont, and we were identifying children that had this kind of horrible trauma in their lives, and we would take these children and their therapist, whoever was treating them, and many times it was social workers, to these camps, and we I funded it. We did it for many years until someone else eventually took it over. And but I watched and I saw, and time after time, the therapists and the people working with these children told us that they had seen breakthroughs in the treatment of these children that happened as a result of that relationship with the horse that would never have happened, or may never have happened, or if it could, it would have taken years. And so that was that was something that I'm super proud of, and I look for other things to do. Hey, at Verb, we do things every week. We, for public companies now, you have NASDAQ listed companies like us. You have something called an ESG score, which is environment, social, and governance scores, and a lot of investors now are only investing in companies that have a certain kind of level of ESG score, and these are things that you undertake as an organization to further improve the environment and social issues and governance. And so we've done a ton of things. We've probably done far more because we embraced this so early as a company, as a micro-cap, small-cap company at NASDAQ. In fact, NASDAQ, and we worked very closely with NASDAQ. When they first announced these kinds of initiatives, we were all over it. And so we worked closely with them. And I'm told just recently, actually, that NASDAQ is going to use us as sort of a case study to show that it doesn't make a difference if you're a $1 trillion business. Any companies could really employ these kinds of initiatives to improve the world at large. So I'm a big believer in that, and I think we all need to look not just outside of what's going on, but look inside of it and think about what could we do to make it better. And there are it's unlimited things that we can do, especially when we come together to do these things, and then you can overcome everything.
Yeah. I think that's the key. Come together, right?
Truly.
Like, take politics out, take your thoughts on things out, just come together and let's fix some stuff.
Yeah, let's all be accountable. Let's all take responsibility. Let's stop complaining that the government is not doing enough for us. Let's do it ourselves, because we can. Look what's happening with with space and these. We're going to make extraordinary leaps and bounds by having moved the entire space initiative and interplanetary initiatives to the private sector. Watch what happens now that hasn't happened in 30 years. It's what we can do as people, as Americans. We come together, we can do anything.
Yep.
So we just need to embrace that.
Yep. You're my kind of dude. I like you.
Thank you.
All right, we are running out of time. You've got to stop here in just a couple minutes, so I'm gonna ask my last couple questions, the same questions I asked everybody that's on this. You answered this one kind of early on in the show, but I'm going to ask it because I think you could probably add on to it. What advice would you give to founders or soon-to-be founders that are going to watch this program?
Yeah, I guess I did kind of cover that
you did.
A bit in the beginning. You should expect a pivot and plan for it as best you can. Always have your plan B ready to go. The thing I haven't said yet that I think would be a good idea to mention now: think big. Think big. It's so important. People get so focused on small, and look at everything small, and you know, the world has so many opportunities. Go for it. I mean, it's amazing. People don't realize the opportunities that are out there. And it doesn't make a difference what your background is. It doesn't make a difference what your education is. None of that matters because there are so many people that would be willing to join you if you just shared your vision with them. People that have the skills to do the things that you can't do. But think big, because look, you may not, you make it all the way up here, but if you're shooting for this, maybe you end up here. Okay, that's still pretty damn good. If you're shooting down here, and man, that's all you're going to get to, and you're going to miss out on a lot that the world has to offer. And so I would tell you, think big. If you've got a great idea for something, think how big it can be. Where does it go next? And shoot for that. Think where it goes next. Think forward.
Yeah.
I think that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah, be a visionary. Right on. Last question. What is the best way for our viewers to get in touch with you if they so choose?
Email me. Check me out on social. My email is rory@verb.tech. And, I'm all over social, so it's easy to find me.
Right on. Rory Cutaia, thank you for being on the show, buddy. It was a pleasure.